Hello everyone, welcome back to my kitchen, or welcome to my kitchen if it's your first time here. Now today we're going to be doing a classic dish, lasagna. Probably my favourite dish to make and to eat as well. So this is what you will need to make it. So for this recipe, it's done in 3 stages. We've got 2 tablespoons of olive oil, we've got 675 grams of minced beef, we've got 2 onions that are chopped, and then we've got 200 grams of mushrooms. You could use celery if you wanted to. We've got 2 cloves of garlic, and then we've also got 2 level tablespoons of plain flour. That will help to thicken the sauce. We've got 150 millilitres, that's a quarter pint of beef stock, and then we've also got 3 tablespoons of tomato puree, and then we've also got 2 tins of chopped tomatoes, and then we've also got 1 tablespoon of chopped thyme, and then for the white sauce we've got 50 grams of butter, we've got 50 grams of plain flour, 750 millilitres, that's 1¼ pints of milk, and then we've also got 50 grams of cheddar cheese, and you could use parmesan if you wanted to. And then to put the lasagna together, we've got lasagna sheets. We're going to need about 12, and then we've also got 75 grams of cheddar. Of course you could use a different cheese if you wanted to. Okay, so and the first thing we're going to need to do is fry the mince off. So I've just put a pan on medium heat. We're going to put 2 tablespoons of olive oil into the pan to heat that up. Once that's heated up, we'll add the mince, and we're just going to brown the mince all over. I've also preheated the oven to 160 degrees Celsius, that's 325 degrees Fahrenheit. And this recipe will serve about 6 people. It takes about 30 minutes to prep and about 2 hours to cook. Because once we've made the ragu, we'll cook it in the oven for about 1.5 hours with a lid on, and then we just need ½ hour to 45 minutes at the end just to cook the pasta sheets and the melted cheese on top. Now we're going to add our mince. I'm just going to break it up and brown it all over. And then once that's done, we'll put it on a plate, leave it to one side, and then we'll cook our onions, our garlic and our mushrooms. Just keep stirring it, breaking it up. As you can see, it's starting to get brown in places. We just need it to be browned all over. I'm just going to keep breaking it up and stirring it so it doesn't stick or burn. And this is just over a medium heat. Just use a wooden spoon just to break it up and stir it. Okay, so it's now nicely browned all over. We're just going to transfer that to a plate to leave to one side, and then we're going to cook our onions and mushrooms and our garlic. Okay, so we're now going to cook our onions, our garlic and our mushrooms. I'm not going to add any oil, I'm just going to use the bit of fat that's come out of the mince because there's all flavour in there. So let's add our onion. I've just diced the onion. I'm going to add the chopped garlic. And again, I'm just doing it over a medium heat. Add our mushrooms. And we just want to soften the onions and the garlic and cook the mushrooms. It should take a few minutes. So I've now just transferred it to an oven-proof dish. This will be the dish that we put into the oven once the ragu is done. I've now just added the flour and the stock. Just brought it up to the bowl and just giving it a good mix in. Now we're going to add our 3 tablespoons of tomato puree. Also adding in now 1 tablespoon of thyme as well. And give that a good stir. Now you can see the colour beginning to change with that tomato puree in there, and it all beginning to get lovely and yummy and scrummy. Just building up the levels of flavour. And now we're going to add our 2 tins of tomatoes. These are just chopped tomatoes. Bring that up to the bowl again, stir it well. And that is the first stage done. What we're now going to do is we're going to take it off the hob and put in the oven for about 1 to 1.5 hours until it's all, the meat is nice and tender. So I'll probably check it after an hour and see if it needs more time. And it's going to go in at 160 degrees Celsius, 325 degrees Fahrenheit, which we preheated the oven so it'll be nice and hot once we put it in. So we'll take that off the heat, put a lid on it, put it in the oven, and then we will do the next stage, which is the white sauce. So after an hour and a half in the oven, our ragu is now done, and we're now going to move on to the second stage, which is the white sauce. So for the white sauce we need to melt our 50 grams of butter into the pan. And then once that's melted we'll add our flour. Just doing over a medium heat. And we can use a wooden spoon to melt the butter and stir in the flour. and then we'll switch to a whisk when we whisk the milk in. So just gently melting it. So it's now nicely melted. We're going to add our flour, and we're going to cook the flour out for a minute. Just stirring it round. So you want to keep stirring it for about a minute because you want to cook the flour out. And don't worry that it goes lumpy because that's how it needs to go, and then it will all get to a smooth sauce as you slowly add the milk. That's about there, so we're going to slowly add our milk a little bit at a time. And then you'll slowly see it coming together. Just keep stirring it. Every time the milk's incorporated, add a bit more. And it will feel thick to start off with, but it will loosen up as you add more milk. You can see it's starting to come together now. Just keep adding milk a little bit at a time. And you can see it's really starting to take on the look and texture of the sauce. And use a whisk because this will make all the difference. Once you've mastered this sauce, you can use it in cauliflower cheese, in fish pie. So it's a good sauce to learn how to make. Now we're nearly there now. You can see it's nearly at the right consistency now. add the last bit of our milk. So you can see that's exactly as I want it. So what we're going to do now, we're going to turn the heat off and add the cheese, and that will just melt within the heat that we have in the pan. Like I say, you could use parmesan if you prefer. I'm just using cheddar. Give that a mix round. And then what we'll do is we'll pour that back into our jug, and that'll make it easier to put on when we build our lasagna, which is the third stage that we're going to do next. Okay, so we're now going to assemble our lasagna. Now we've got our oven-proof dish, and what we're going to do first of all is just put a layer of the meat sauce into the bottom. Just spread it out. Love the smell. You can smell all the different flavours. You smell the thyme, and you've got the tomatoes, the mushrooms and the mince. Okay, and then we're going to do a layer of the white sauce. Doesn't have to be exact. Pour it over. And then we're just going to take some of our lasagna sheets and lay them on. Don't need to pre-cook them because they will cook fine in the oven. And now we just need to break some to do the corners and the sides. And then you just repeat the process. So we've done 3 layers of meat sauce and white sauce, and alternating with the lasagna sheets in between. Now we're just going to sprinkle over our cheddar cheese. As I say, you could use different cheese if you wanted to, parmesan, whatever takes your fancy really. And then we're going to put in the oven for about half hour to 45 minutes just to melt the cheese and cook the pasta. Give it a generous topping of cheese, and then that will melt all lovely into it. And we're now going to put it in the oven at 200 degrees Celsius, that's 400 degrees Fahrenheit, for about half hour, 45 minutes. So after about half an hour, this is the end result. So let's give it a try. Let's get that out. All that lovely pasta, tomato, mushrooms, the meat. Okay, so let's give it a try. A lovely soft pasta, the creamy sauce, and mixed in with the tomatoes and the mushrooms and the mince. Like I said, definitely one of my favourite things to make and to eat. And what you can also do is grab some of these containers. A lot of shops sell them. They're microwavable and freezable, safe. And then what you can do is you can make it like I have, and just put it into portions in these containers, and keep in the freezer for like 2 to 3 months, so you've got food prepared ahead. So if you come home late from work and you just want something quick, you can microwave it, or if you want to give some to someone, or you know, whatever you want to do, because food's all about enjoying for yourself and for others as well, and that's the great thing about it. So I hope you will give it a go, and give the video a like so other people can see it, and subscribe if you haven't done already. Thank you to everyone that has. There'll be more cookery videos soon, as well as other stuff that's related on my channel. So thank you for watching, and see you again very soon. Bye for now.